Okay, we're going to do this first set here, and we're going to use this setup here where we are asking a question, what we're trying to find, and using what information the problem gets us for where we're starting from. We also want to use this molar conversion guide, and in this case, every question on this particular problem set is asking us to find mass from moles. That means that the conversions are always going to look very similar. They're all going to look like this, where we just need the molar mass. By now you know how to use your periodic table to find molar mass, so I'm not going to do that part of it because you know where to look. So question number 1 is asking, what is the mass in grams of 0.819 moles of helium? Alright, pretty straightforward. You know that you are trying to find grams. You're starting with moles. This says where I'm starting from is going to be what the units are that I have. That's going to go here on the bottom. The units I have are going to go here. Well, in this case, in question number 1, the units we have is moles of helium. That was supposed to be a highlighter. Moles of helium is right here. That means what goes on the bottom is the same. That way when we do this, the units cancel. On the top is what we're trying to find, and you should know how to use your periodic table to find the molar mass. Bust out my calculator, and we're going to say, no, I do not want to update this. We're going to say 0.819. We're going to multiply across the top, which is 4, and divide by the bottom, which is not necessary. And this tells us that if you have 0.819 moles of helium, that's 0.328. Call that, I'm sorry, 3.328. Call that 3.3 moles of helium. Okay? These are all set up very similarly. We'll go the other way on the next set. Number 2 is asking, what is the mass in grams of 1.5 moles of iron? We are trying to find how many grams of iron are the equivalent of 1.5 moles of iron. 1.5 moles is what we're starting with, so we're going to put that on the bottom so that that cancels out. That should look like an F. Sorry about that. That means you're going to need to look on your periodic table for the molar mass of iron. If you do that, you'll see the molar mass is somewhere in the neighborhood of 55.8. I usually round my molar masses to the nearest whole number, but you can do it however you want. And so we're going to take our calculator and we're going to say, let me clear this, 1.5 moles times 56. This is 84 grams. 84. Okay, halfway there. What is the mass in grams of 4.5 moles of carbon? How many grams of carbon is the equivalent of 4.5 moles of carbon? We're going to go from moles of carbon to grams of carbon, and in 1 mole there are 12 grams. That's a pretty easy one. You know how to find that one. And so here is our periodic table. And we're going to say 4.5 times 12. We get 54. That means that there are 54 grams of carbon in 4.5 moles. All right, last one. Let me make sure I've got a periodic table handy. I'll be right back. Okay, so I've got a periodic table ready, and we're going to look at that in a little bit. Let's see how we're going to do this one. It says mystery element X is in group 2 of the periodic table. That means that mystery element X is in group 2. That's group 2 right there. Okay? It's going to be one of the elements that are in group 2. Not 1, not 2, or excuse me, not 1, not 3, not 4, group 2. Somewhere in here, this element is going to be. So, here's what we're going to say. You know that element X is in group 2. You also know that 2 moles of mystery element X have a mass of 48 grams. What is the identity? That means if we can find out, so we know that 2 moles is 48 grams. If we can find out how many grams is 1 mole, that means we know the molar mass. That means we just look at it on the periodic table. So we've got it set up to look like this, where we say 48.6 grams is equal to 2 moles, what x grams is to 1 mole. We're going to cross multiply. The way we do that is we're going to multiply this times this and multiply that times that. So it's going to look like this when we get it all set up. 48.6 grams times 1 mole is equal to 2 moles times x grams, called cross multiplication, and we want to solve for x. That means we're going to divide both sides by 2 moles. When you do that, moles cancels. Okay? That means we have 48.6 times 1 divided by 2. When we do that, our calculator gives us 24.3 grams is the molar mass. All we have to do is look for an element on the periodic table in group 2 that has a molar mass of 24.3. Magnesium. 24.3 grams is our molar mass. So we can identify the identity of our mystery element X is magnesium. That's all you do.